Welcome back to the channel. It is great to see you guys again. Today, I want to talk about the first job that I had after dental school. If you're in dental school right now, drop it down in the comments what you are planning on doing after graduation. I'd be really curious to see. When I was in school, and this was like barely 10 years ago, everybody wanted to get into solo private practice, and it actually looks like people are sort of trending a little bit away from that. If you've seen my other videos, my story is I worked for a year for a community health clinic. It was like 3 months after I started that job, I started looking for private practices and ended up buying a practice about a year out of school. So I had that community health job for about a year. Some things I really loved about that job, and the reason I think it was such a great job straight out of school, is number one was the paycheck. It wasn't just a paycheck, there was some vacation time, there were health benefits, all of this kind of stuff that was really great coming straight out of dental school, knowing that my income wasn't tied to production. And so the clinic I worked at was sort of used to hiring new grads, and they're used to you being a little bit slow. And so it did take a month or two to get up to speed, but for me, that was really perfect. Especially if you have a family, that kind of security can be nice for sure. Another thing that I really liked about the job was the camaraderie, and I did not know how much I was going to miss that, because in solo private practice, it's just me. I've got my staff. That's really it. I do have some friends that are dentists, but I don't have somebody that's back in the office that I can kind of bounce things off of, which you do have if you work next to other dentists, which is often the case in a public health type job. For me, that was actually one of the best things about the job, because my first couple months in, if you follow community health at all or have done some rotations through those clinics, you know that you take a lot of teeth out. And if you take a lot of teeth out, you're going to run into some situations that are above your head. And down the road, if you're thinking that you want to be the kind of dentist that is doing like bigger surgery things, like you want to get into placing implants, doing sinus lifts, that skill set of just getting really good at taking teeth out and suturing and managing a surgical site, you will get that in a community health clinic, and you definitely need those skills if you want to start placing implants and taking on bigger surgical cases. At least for me, the clinic I worked at, we did a lot of removable, a lot of dentures. A lot of people hate dentures. I totally get that. It was like one of my least favorite things about dental school. But I'll tell you, 9 years out, being good at dentures is really an asset to my practice. If you think about the time it takes and the energy it takes to do like 2 fillings next to each other, compared to say taking 12 teeth out, doing an immediate denture and then a reline in a few months, that's a ton of production. It's one surgical appointment, and it's a handful of other appointments that really aren't surgical. If you get fast and efficient with dentures, not only will you get better at dentures, that'll give you sort of a really good foundation if you want to move on to bigger things like all on fours and full mouth reconstruction. Not everybody does that. I don't really like to do that stuff personally, but the dentists that are really good at those things are also really good at dentures. There's nobody who does a phenomenal all on four that says they can't do a good denture. It's really the same skill set. You have to be able to manage VDO, speaking space, envelope of function, patient expectations, all of that stuff. It's the same skill set. And so that was really valuable. And it's definitely worth consideration that if there is a recession, you're not going to be doing as many single unit implants, things like that. You'll probably be doing a lot more extractions and a lot more dentures, even in private practice. I anticipate the next couple years are sort of going to be like that in my own private practice. And having that skill set is really been a great thing. Another benefit for working in public health, this is not something I took advantage of, but a lot of other doctors did, is the loan repayment. And there are actually 2 different ways I've seen that done. One is if you work for those clinics, you get a certain amount. So for like a 2-year commitment, they would have given me, I think it was like $60,000 for every 2 years that I gave them. I ended up not doing that because I moved into private practice and I wouldn't have been able to commit to enough time to get the loan repayment, but that is an option. There is something called a public service loan forgiveness program. If you work for a clinic like that for 10 years, then they're supposed to forgive the entire balance of your loans. If you're thinking of doing that, I would definitely consult with an advisor or somebody who has seen that process before. There have been a couple news stories that I found where somebody did that program and then found out at the end of 10 years that they weren't eligible or just something wasn't right. They didn't get the loan forgiveness. And really the last thing you want is to commit to a job that the only reason you're there is the loan repayment, and then find out that you gave that 10 years and your loans are not going to be forgiven. Again, I wouldn't discourage you from that, but tread with caution, because I don't know if those things are as guaranteed as sometimes it sounds like they are. So I'm talking this up like it's for everybody and it's the best job in the world, and there definitely are some disadvantages. Number one, I'm going to get this on the table because I think it's really stupid, but this is something I thought. And this channel is all about being real. I did not like the idea that community health did not sound prestigious. Looking back, it was so dumb that I even thought that. And again, it makes me look stupid to say that, but I want to be real with you guys, because that was something that I was thinking and something that I had to get over to work in community health. The other thing is that this job can definitely be hard work. They're like 5-day-a-week, 40-hour jobs. Like if you work for certainly a private office, a lot of times you'll have a day of the week that's off, so you have a 4-day work week. To me, it really wasn't that bad because I was used to working 5 days a week in dental school. But if you're looking to slow down a little bit and really have been looking forward to that 4-day-a-week job, again, that's a consideration. Another thing that's definitely worth mentioning, if you're that guy or girl that had like all your endo done 3rd year and all your crowns done halfway through 4th year and just sort of waited till graduation, like if you're that fast and you can produce that well, you will probably be able to make a ton of money at like a corporate job, or maybe even a private practice job if you get the right one. The difference in income, like going to corporate for you, will probably be very high. I would honestly say for about maybe 75% of dentists, the pay in public health is going to be similar to what you could make at a corporate office. But again, if you're, if you're that top like 25% of producers where you can just work fast, efficient, just get a lot done, you'll probably make a lot more money at a different job. One big consideration is that every clinic is different. We rotated through a lot of these clinics, and I can say that there are some that I would definitely want to work at, and then other ones that like I could not wait to get out of there. So if you're interviewing for these jobs, just kind of know it's like anything else in life. There are going to be good jobs and there are going to be ones that are just bad. Try to get like a gut sense of just how the whole thing feels. And if it feels like it might be, a crappy place to work, tread with caution. But if it feels like, you get a really good vibe from the boss, everybody's really nice, there are other dentists there, I would not hesitate to go after that job. One thing that is definitely worth considering is the scope of practice is just going to be a little bit different. So like for me, I did a ton of extractions, I did a lot of dentures, a fair amount of fillings, and some pediatric dentistry, but that was pretty much it. I did almost nothing else. I did literally 1 crown my whole year there. My 2nd crown was as a practice owner. At the end of the day, if I had to do it all over again, I would honestly probably do it the same way, because that transition from dental school to working in the public health clinic was really seamless. There were a lot of similarities. It was 5 days a week, very similar patient demographic. And then the transition into private practice clinically was actually pretty easy, because now my speed's up and you're a lot more confident with things. Again, I wouldn't look down on those jobs. If it's something that you're thinking of, it really could be a great situation. Thanks again for checking out the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.